Hello, everyone. Welcome back. On today's episode, we are going to be refactoring the code we wrote previously, and we're going to convert all of these routes that we defined individually into a single line of code using route API resource, right? So it's pretty neat. So let's take a look at how it works. So the process is very simple. All we have to do is do route like we always have. And then instead of manually defining delete get, we can just say API resource, just like this. And this method will take two params that we need to pass in for now, which is going to be the name and the controller. We can ignore the options for now. So the name is going to be our resource name. So in this case, we're working with the users resource. I'm going to put users, all right? And now as the second argument, we need to pass it in a controller, which we currently don't have any. So this is the perfect time for us to see how we can automatically generate the controller and also make our life a bit easier by having a Laravel kind of add some boilerplate code. So open up your terminal if you're following along. And we're going to be using PHP artisan to make our controller. So the command is as follows: make controller. And inside here, we need to first pass in our controller name. So I'm going to be following the general Laravel convention, which is going to be your model name, singular, followed by controller, right? So in this case, it would be user controller. Like if you have post, it would be post controller. And one more point I want to mention is, generally speaking, this is something I personally do as well. I would like to have an API folder and have all my API related controllers under that subfolder. It's a very common practice. You would see this in open source projects as well. So this makes it easy, so you can kind of differentiate very easily between your web and your API controllers, right? Sometimes you might be using the same naming for both your web and API controllers, so it might get confusing which is which. So having kind of a separate folder for APIs is probably a good idea. Another additional thing you can do is you can also version your APIs, right? So you can have version 1, 2, 3. That's something that probably applies to more kind of larger projects. In this case, we have a very simple application. This isn't even like a real world application or API. So I'm just going to skip the versioning and we're going to keep it simple: API user controller. All right. After that, last but not least, we need two more things, which is going to be dash dash API and dash dash model. So what dash dash API does, it basically tells Laravel to add some boilerplate code, and I'll show you guys what those are in a second. And then dash dash model, it also applies to this boilerplate code. It kind of tells Laravel which model this controller belongs to. And Laravel will kind of add some boilerplate code for route model binding. And I'll show you guys that in a second as well. So in this case, we're working with the user model. So I just type user, okay? So whatever your model name is, put that in and hit enter. And that is it. So now we have our first controller. I'm going to open it up and you guys take a look. It's under HTTP controller API user controller. It's quite well organized. Okay. And so that dash dash API, what it did is it told Laravel to add this index, store, show, update, and destroy. So these are the methods that technically apply to like an API. And then the dash dash model applies for the show, update, and destroy routes. Because we are using route model binding, Laravel will automatically kind of add this boilerplate code for us, so we don't need to change it ourselves. All right, so it's very nice. Just makes it a bit faster for you guys to get into developing your API. So now that we have our controller, it is now time for us to define it here. So here I can say user controller, and that's all we have to do. Okay, so now that we have this API resource, it's as if we were manually defining every single route. It's just that Laravel will automatically register all those routes. So this means we can kind of delete these. But before I delete them, I'm going to need to migrate or move all this logic over to our controller. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to start with delete, which kind of maps to destroy. So the kind of convention is delete is destroy, get all is index. Again, this is going to be store. So if I go up here, so updating is going to be store. Getting a single user is going to be show. And then creating a user is going to be store. So this was store. This one is update. I mixed them up. Sorry, where is it? Yep, this one is going to be update. So that's the naming convention in Laravel. And it will automatically kind of do that mapping for us. So let me move the logic first because even I'm confusing them. So let's do that. So get all is going to be index. I'm going to put it at the top. Update is going to be here. And we also have get a single user, which is going to map to show. We also have create a new user, which is going to be store. And I think that's all of them. So let me format all of this. Okay, so now that we have removed the logic, we can actually go ahead and delete these. So let me go ahead and quickly do that, just like this. I'm also going to delete these two. And now we have a clean one-liner. So this is very nice if you have APIs that work with a specific model or a specific resource. So Laravel can kind of automate the process for you and define all the routes for you. And as you can see, our controller also looks quite clean. Now, I also have some imports that I'm missing here. Okay, so that is it, guys. So we have now created our first controller. So we can go ahead and test it out. Let me go back and I'm going to open up Postman just to verify that it still works because we did delete all our old routes, right? So I want to make sure it still works. Now, on the previous episode, we updated our route to use the email for kind of identifying and searching for a model. Because we haven't defined that in the API resources, back to ID. I'll show you guys how to have it read from the email again. But for now, instead of this ID, I'm going to type in, I think we have a user 17. As you can see, it is working. We can also try get all users. And so the APIs are still working. Now, one point I want to mention on the previous episode, I was using the query params to create the user. And one of you guys mentioned that in the comments. Again, thank you for your feedback. So I do want to make that distinction and clarify that query params are different from the body. So with the query params, your fields are going to be inside the URL, as you can see. So this is similar to doing like a GET request from the browser. And then the body, well, it's going to be in the request body, right? So if you're doing like post request from the browser or from, HTML, usually this is what it refers to. So these two are different. So they're not the same thing. But Laravel is built in a way that it can pull your data from either of these, right? So if I were to pass this name either from the body or the query params, my application would still work. So that's something that Laravel does automatically. But that doesn't mean these two are the same. Okay, so I do want to make that distinction. And yeah, thank you guys again for leaving feedback in the comments. Okay, so now that we have all these APIs defined, I want to show you guys how we can actually make it read from the email, right? So on the previous video, what we did was basically when we had our route, we had something like users, user, and then we had email. Well, how do we do that with the API resource, right? So this one is also quite simple. There are two main ways of doing it. So the first way, which is how you can do it inside your route, is by doing something called calling a method called scoped. And what this scope does is it allows you to basically tell Laravel which field to use to fetch a specific model or a resource, right? So it will accept an associative array. And in this case, for the key, you need to pass in whatever variable you were going to pass in on your routes normally, right? So this is also going to match your controllers. So whatever you have defined here. Majority of the time is going to be basically your model name. Okay, so it's going to be user. And then as the value, you need to pass in which field you want to use to fetch it, right? So by default, obviously, it's going to be ID or whatever the primary key is. But in this case, instead of ID, we want it to be email. All right. Now you might be asking, well, why is this like a associative array? What's the purpose? So the thing is, you can have nested resources. So for example, you can have users, and then you can have posts, and then a specific post for that user, right? So maybe you want to get a post by slug. So that's how you can do it with scoped. You can also have for, let's say, post and then get the post from slug, right? So it can be used for nested resources as well, which is kind of its primary purpose. So in this case, obviously, we do not have this post, so I'm not going to be adding it, but this is something you can do if you have. So this is method number one. And let me remove this comment as well. So we can now go back and open up Postman again. And I'll go to get user. And if we try again with user 17, now that we have told Laravel to use the email, we actually get a 404 not found. Now, you may also have noticed, guys, when we are getting these 404s, Laravel is actually returning HTML, which is not very nice. We probably ideally wanted to return JSON. So I'll cover that in a separate video. I just want to mention that it is a thing, so we will be covering it. So with that being said, now we can go ahead and use the email. And I forgot the email, so let me copy it again. So it's test 123. Let me replace 17 with that. And as you can see, it's now using email. One more additional point I want to mention. On the previous episode, we used patch to update our resources. And I kind of briefly mentioned the differences between the two. Now, when you use API resource, the Laravel will actually define both patch and put for your update operation. So both of these will actually work. So you can use either of them. So in this case, if I were to use, let me update the email again. So if I were to use test patch using the patch, which is what we did on the previous episode, it will work. But if I were to update this patch to put, it's also going to work. So that is something to be aware of. Laravel will define both of these routes, and both of them will map to your update, to your update method in your controller. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. Okay, so that was method number one. Method number two is we can, instead of having this scoped here, we can actually go ahead and define this inside our model. So if you go to your user model, which I already have it open over here, we can override a method. So it's going to be public function get route key name. So this is an existing method that exists in your Laravel models. Okay. And you can see my kind of extensions automatically autocomplete this. But basically what this does is it tells Laravel which key or which field to use for route model binding. So by default, it's going to be the primary key. We can actually go ahead and take a look at this parent implementation real quick. So this calls get key name. And then as you can see, the get key name actually gets the primary key, right? Which is going to be the ID for majority of the cases, right? So we can just override this and have it be email, all right? Pretty simple stuff. So it's kind of equivalent to what we did with the scoped, but the difference is with scoped, you need to define this every time, right? So you might have the users, then you might have another nested one for like users with comments, and another one again for users and posts. So you need to keep defining that scoped over and over again. The benefits of this is that you define it once and it's going to apply to all your routes for that model, right? So I like this a lot myself because it makes it so that I won't accidentally have any routes that are not using, the email, for example. So I might be accidentally exposing some IDs unintentionally, right? So this is very nice. You can also use this. This is what I prefer personally, but nothing wrong with that scope method as well. Okay, a lot of people use it, especially if you have nested routes. Okay, now we can go ahead and try it again. As you can see, it still works using the new method. Okay, so that's it. Now, before we end today's episode, guys, I want to mention something that I also received a comment about, which is we haven't actually done any validation. So I briefly mentioned this on the previous episode, but I kind of quickly went over it. So we are missing at the moment validation and authorization for our routes. So these two are very important steps that you need to make sure you always do, especially if you have production, APIs. So we are currently not doing it. So that's what we will be covering in the upcoming episodes as well. So for now, do keep in mind that these are missing. So don't go ahead, publish this in a production application. So I do want to make that disclaimer. But it is something that we are going to be covering. And of course, this applies, validation will apply every time that we get some input from the user. So you always want to validate what comes from your users. And then for authorization, again, it's very important, right? For example, you cannot just let anyone delete a user, right? It's not very safe. So it is a distinction I want to make. All right, guys. So before I end the episode, I do also want to mention one more thing, which is if you actually go ahead and take a look at your route, so we can do PHP artisan route list. You can see that obviously if you take a look at the user, so we had boot patch, Laravel has automatically defined all these routes. Now, what if, let's say you have an admin panel and you want to allow your admin to create users, but you don't want to let them delete users, right? Or destroy them. Well, how can you do that, right? You cannot just have that route and hope no one will find it. So this is where we can go ahead and actually tell Laravel to not define some routes. So there are primarily two ways of doing it. One of them is you can exclude some routes using except method. So here, for example, I can say except destroy, right? So this should match your controller method name. So whatever it is here, so destroy, you would put destroy. And that will tell Laravel, hey, don't define this route, okay? It doesn't actually matter if you have it on your controller. What matters is if it's defined in a route itself. So if we try again with the PHP artisan list, you can see actually that the delete route is gone, okay? Now, this also accepts an array, so you can pass in multiple routes as well. So for example, here, maybe I also don't want anyone to, let's say, get all the users, right? So I'm going to also exclude index. Okay, so I have saved that. Let me try again. So we had 27 routes. Now it should be 26. And we scroll up, you can see that the index route has also been kind of no longer defined. So that's way number one. You can also do it the other way. So instead of excluding it, you can kind of just tell it to define specific ones using only method. And you probably can guess what it does. So with only, I can, for example, say only show. Right. So what this does is it makes it so Laravel will define only show. So we're down to 24. And if I go all the way up, you can actually see we only have one route, right? So that's it. And show is also similar to accept. You can also pass in an array. Usually I actually always pass an array, but it's up to you. So for example, we can say show an index, right? So we don't want anything that can modify a user. So we only have these two. So I'll run it again. And as you can see, now we have index and show user. All right. So that's it, guys. Super simple. And we can also double verify this, I guess, with Postman. So if I try to update a user here, it will tell me 404 method not allowed. So this usually means that, hey, this doesn't exist. I don't even know how to handle it. The route is not defined. So that is it, guys, for today's episode again. I hope you enjoyed. If you learned something new, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or if you have any feedback, you think the videos could be improved in any shape or form, let me know in the comment section below. That's going to help me out tremendously. All right, guys, have a great day. See you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye, bye, bye.